Okay, trying to repair a leaky outdoor hose bib faucet. First thing I did, remove the two screws. You can see right there they are. Of course, I went inside, turned off the water. It kept dripping and dripping and running. I went down and we have a bathtub in the basement, so I turned it on, drained it out. It's dry. It's not dripping anymore at all. Everything seems to be as dry as I can get it. I'm trying to do this from the outside so I don't have to go into the basement and come up through my basement. There's the basement. Come up through the basement ceiling, which will be a big mess, and put a big hole in there and everything. So I'm going to now knock this thing loose and see if I can unscrew it and hopefully not create a disaster inside. Okay, further progress on replacing a hose bib. As you can see, it unscrewed beautifully. It was not soldered. So I'm going to go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and buy a replacement, get a better one than this piece of junk. I hate these double things that spray in your face when you shut them off. But I think I'm in good shape. I'm going to go in there and buy one of these. I'm going to use plumber's tape on it, screw it back in, and then turn the water back on. And the plan is, if I didn't say this before, basement is below this, basement ceiling. They were going to take out the drywall there and take out the ceiling to get to it. I don't have to now. I am going to go drill a hole directly beneath this and see if I'm getting any water, if there's a leak down in there. Make sure I got it really done right, which is the hope. Okay, I got this thing out. It unscrewed quite easily. And I'm going to say, if you're doing this yourself and you're not sure if it's soldered or screwed, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be able to tell pretty easily. You start turning it, and when you get it that first little nudge, it's going to move and not want to bounce back. That says, okay, I'm not just twisting the pipe, it's unscrewing. So that was good. That came out nice and clean. So here's the new one. And the problem is, my house is old, 26-year-old home, and this is a 13-inch long copper pipe. Thank you very much. These standards are 8, 10, and 12. So at Lowe's, I went and got a 12-incher, and I had to add an adapter. Well, it took two adapters. I can't remember what they're called, but you can see there's two adapters there. Screwed one onto this, and then another one onto that. And so now I'm too long. You can see my, let's compare them here lengthwise. So there's right there, the outside of the wall, that's where they're going to be. And you can see, I've got an extra. So when this all said and done, this wood's kind of rotten in here. Anyhow, I'm going to have to put, it's been leaking in there for a long time. It's been leaking in there for a long time. Sorry, that was a bad video. I'm going to have to put some, a piece of wood in here because I'm going to have a half-inch gap there, an inch to a half-inch gap there. So next step, I'm going to set the phone down and see if I can start screwing this thing. You can see I've used plumber's tape everywhere. I screwed these two adapters on using big wrenches, and I am not the strongest guy in the world, but I squeezed them as tight as I could physically, and I figured that's probably not too tight because I'm just not that strong. Hopefully it's tight enough. Now I'm going to look in that hole and see if I can get this thing threaded. Adventure. Okay, well, I missed an important part of this video. I'm not sure I would have been able to show it, but back in that hole, back in there, yay far back in, 13 inches back in, was a threaded pipe. And when I unscrewed the original, of course, when I unscrewed this guy, the pipe in there sagged just a little bit. And so when I went to stick this new one in, it didn't line up. I couldn't get it in. I happen to be a golfer, and so I took this golf shaft. I lost my temper and broke this one. And that's a different story. Shoved this back in there and got it in the pipe and then pried it on the edge, and I apparently managed to move it enough, and I did that several times when I felt and I could see, I used a little headlamp here thing, a little flashlight to look down in the hole, I could see I'd moved a little, so I ran my new one down in there and started turning, and sure enough, it caught right away. And so I used this gigantic wrench. You can see this thing's humongous. It's 13 inches long itself. Use that to tighten it really tight, and I went back inside and turned on the water, and voila. So I got it. Now the question is, and this is a more modern frost-proof, frost relief valve thing, which is nice. So that's why it goes back in 12 inches. The actual turnoff is 12 inches inside. That's what these frost-proof are about. So when you turn it off, it leaks out all 12 inches of that last 12 inches of the pipe, so you don't freeze in the winter. That's the trick. Now I'm going to leave this like this and leave it shut. And now that the dripping's gone, obviously I'm not getting any dripping. I'm going to see if it dries out, and if it doesn't dry out, that tells me I've got a little leak back inside, which pray to God I don't. If that is the case, I am going to have to go in through the basement ceiling and try to fix it. Yeah. Anyhow, mission accomplished. Feeling pretty good. Cost me $50 instead of $500. So, and no torn up drywall, no cleanup. Feeling pretty happy.